All right, here we go. Chapter 6. It's you versus you, okay? I've said it in my other videos. You need to get out of your own way. And I say that in the mirror. I need to get out of my way. If I want to be successful, I need to move. I need to get out of the way. It's just crazy, all right? This chapter is where it all comes together, okay? The biggest opponent in trading isn't the market, it's you, okay? Especially if you guys are trading prop firms and you feel like you're being hunted, that's not a real feeling. Okay, that's just, I mean, not to discount feelings, right? Because feelings do matter and they do count. But the market's not chasing you. You're trading virtually. You're not even the market makers don't even see your orders because your orders aren't technically real. Okay, that's what I'm getting to. All right. So if you feel like the market's out to get you, it's not the market. Technically it's you. And let's get into what Jared Tendler says. Jared Tendler drills into the core idea that your results are a direct reaction of your internal psychology. This is so true. Okay. The way you process the markets on the inside is exactly what's going to come out in your actions. All right. It's not about beating the other traders or outsmarting the algorithms. The fight is internal, is eternally internal. Okay. And the battlefield is your habits, your emotional responses, your beliefs, and your discipline under pressure. Every time it's you. Okay. This truth is hard. Okay, because nobody wants to admit it. Everybody wants to say, I just need to learn a little bit more so I can understand the algorithms a little bit better, so that way I can make better trades, and then my psychology will naturally be fixed because I'll start being a winner. I've never seen that work. Didn't work for me. I sought that for years and ended up down a dead road. Okay. All right. Every time you hesitate and miss the trade, double your risk out of revenge, exit early from fear, or abandon your plan out of boredom. Okay. It's not the market beating you, it's you. Okay. And I'm saying, like, oh, it's you, it's you, it's you, it's you, it's you. You guys understand that I have a mirror up right now for real, like not literally, but it's me. Okay? I'm in my own way. All right? When I have trained myself, I have made such leaps and bounds by dealing with me. Okay? Not dealing with the market, not learning more. Actually, the more simple my day trading plan has become, the more profitable I've become and the more simple I've made it. Right? Okay. So Tendler makes it clear there is no edge strong enough to overcome internal sabotage. That's why the golden strategies are out there on YouTube and nobody can make them. Nobody can use them. Okay. I've seen this. All right. I got a guy who trades market patterns like flags. Okay. Stuff that honestly most of the people I'm connected to make fun of. Right. But I don't. And I even say something a lot of times because I'm like, I know a guy who makes six figures um, just because that's like his bread. He doesn't need it, but he uses it to pay bills and eat, and then he's got his savings and he trades patterns. He trades bull flags, bear flags, and all these funky things that people are like, oh, these are retail patterns that built to get people wrecked. Whatever. I mean, I kind of believe that, but that's his edge, and he does exceptionally well. Go figure. And I've seen the proof. I've seen the actual proof. So, with that said, even the best strategy fails when your psychology isn't aligned. The good news is, since you're the problem, you are also the solution. And with us being the problem, we are also the solution. I love that. I love that. Okay. This chapter isn't about awareness, it's about taking ownership. Extreme Ownership by Jocko, book plug. All right. If you're willing to face the internal resistance, you can overcome it. And once you do, the external wins begin to show up consistently. Okay. This is really true. Okay. You hear this from certain people on YouTube where they're like, you can't focus on the wins or you can't focus on the outcome. You have to focus on the process. It's so true. And a part of that process is you, right? How you respond to your emotions when you're trading. And a lot of people have been like, oh, I've been told I need to kill my emotions and not have them anymore. And, I need to, shelf them and have them non existent. That, to me, that's just not possible. Okay. We're human. We were built for emotions. You just need to know how to deal with them. You need to know to train yourself how to deal with your emotions. All right. So take full ownership of your trades, no matter what, wins, losses, own them. Okay. It's hard to do. It is so hard to do. All right. So let's talk about this. Key takeaways from this: your trading problems are internal, not external. Okay. Stop blaming things externally. All right. There's a funny video I made quite a long time ago. The coffee made me do it. Okay. It was just a silly thing. I had a bunch of espresso, and I mean, I was super wound up that day, and I ended up like taking some losses, and I kind of blew up an account, and I literally blamed the coffee and said it was the anxiety from the caffeine, you know, and I was talking to my wonderful wife and about it, and she lovingly looked at me and said, "You're gonna blame the coffee for that?" And I just was like, you know what? You're right. It wasn't the coffee, it was me. And I had to take full ownership of that. Okay. Now, that's a silly story, but that was eye opening. And it was because I didn't like being wrong and I wanted to blame something else. So I found coffee. It was like, oh, it made me anxious. So I didn't trade, like I should have. I was too anxious. I shouldn't have been in front of the screens because it caused me anxiety. I mean, I know that sounds silly, but how many times do we blame the market? Oh, it's just poopy price action. No, it was you, right? Your strategy is going to lose a certain amount of the time, right? No matter what. And in perfect conditions and in perfect execution, you're going to lose probably 40 to 6% of the time anyway, right? Depending on your strategy, okay? So, with that said, how you can't blame the market, right? You take ownership of your trades and you take ownership of the outcome and you just deal with it, right? So that was a huge step for me. Okay, that was actually one of the biggest things. That's why I made a video out of it, because it showed that I didn't like being wrong and I wanted to find, oh, my daily bias was wrong, or the coffee made me do it, or it was just bad price action. Powell's left eye twitched 3 times, and that was a signal for people to short the market, and so everybody sold against my long, and I got whatever, right? Um, I just had to come to the realization that I needed to take ownership and be okay with being wrong, because my strategy says about 40% of the time I'm going to be wrong. All right. Self sabotage is the biggest leak in most traders' performance. I do get time. I have spent time with Jared Tendler, and this is what he says. You know, and I'm in one group that's really, 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 really big. It's got a lot of traders, and it's a melting pot of successful and unsuccessful, and those becoming successful. But there's a lot of people in there that are extremely successful, and this is the one thing that they took control over, right? They started to curve their self sabotage and they started to become profitable. And I was taking note of that. Like, I was a great boom and bust trader. I knew how to preserve capital. I had made lots of money and whatever, right? But I'm like, I don't want to be, you know, a profitable gambler, right? Because that's kind of what I was. I was like, I want to be a professional. I want to be on a chart over time where it's consistent and not just, you know, boom and bust that's in a profitable direction. All right. That was my biggest thing. And so I started learning from them. And this was huge. And that's why I take ownership of all the trade setups, no matter what. And I've learned to visualize the loss and the win, and I've learned to be okay with both. Right. So every recurring mistake you make has a root cause, and it's your job to find it and fix it. Okay. So sometimes fixing it isn't just quick, but you put in the work, and you do the journaling, and all of a sudden you start fixing yourself, in a sense, from internally. All right. Mastering your internal game is what unlocks consistent results. And this is really what I was saying. Okay. Is being a profitable boom and bust trader, whatever. You're making money. I mean, that's what a lot of people would say. Like, hey, you made this much that 1 year. That's more than most jobs. That's great. And I'm like, yeah, but can I make 5 times that? And can I do it in a way that I'm not a degenerate gambler? That I can be more consistent. Let's talk about it. Let's do it. Let's become a professional, right? I want to become good enough that they would want to hire me to be on their trading floor, right? Not because I've learned how to be really good at being lucky in a sense. Okay. So let's talk about action steps, things that you can actually actively do. All right. Identify your top 2 internal opponents. So you versus you, but which version of you? Ask yourself, what are the 2 habits, reactions, or tendencies that cause the most damage to my P&L? Okay. FOMO, revenge trading. Mine was revenge trading because I didn't like being wrong. Okay. I didn't like losing either. So I would lose. I'd want to revenge trade. My daily bias is bullish, but the market's going short, and I'm just trying to go long, go long, go long, go long at every potential of reversal because I want to be right. All right. Figure it out. Figure out what does the most damage. So overtrading, hesitation, emotional revenge, and ignoring your plan. Okay. Those are the kinds of things. For the longest time, like I had this plan, I just didn't implement it. I just went to the market and was like, ooh, unicorn, let's go. All right. Yeah. Oh, it didn't work out. Why didn't it work out? Well, because I just took some random unicorn setup. All right. So is it ignoring your plan, overtrading, hesitation, emotional revenge? You guys know what it is. And if you don't, take the time to journal. Journaling does not take as much time as people think it does, but it does do more to help you than people think it does. Okay. A lot of traders I talk to, they're struggle busting. I'm like, are you journaling? I can send you a data sheet of all my trades. No, hold on. That's not what I asked. Are you journaling? I don't care about your data, to be honest. I want to know, how are you feeling? Did you FOMO? Did you overtrade? Did you do stuff you weren't supposed to? That's what I want to know. Okay. So write your you versus you profile. I really like this. Break it down like this. Your weakness, for example, hesitation. It shows up. You talk yourself out of trades. What it cost you, missed winners and frustration. How you'll counter it, visualize setups and confidence daily. Okay. Build confidence every day. Build confidence in your setup. This is where I'd say go back test. I'm not a big back tester, but I do believe if you don't have an edge, you have to back test. You have to experiment with these things because you need to believe in your setup. If you don't believe in your setup, I don't know how you're going to implement that with confidence and believe in it. I really don't. Okay. All right. So use self-talk to stay in control. Create a short phrase to interrupt sabotage when it starts. This is huge. Huge. I'm not here to be perfect. I'm here to be consistent. Stick to the plan, stick to the process. I'm not fighting the market. I'm managing myself. These kinds of things, guys, when you can interrupt your behavior, that can change everything for you. All right. So journal the daily battle. At the end of each trading day, right? Where did I win the internal battle? Where did I lose it? What caused the loss of control? And what's my fix? Okay. For me, like I said, it was being wrong and not really taking ownership of the actual outcome, right? So what did I do? I started to tell myself it's okay to be wrong. I started to visualize the win, visualize the loss, and be okay with both. Be like, all right, hey, if I got $200 on this trade, if I win, it's 400 plus. If I lose 200 bucks. Okay, I'm cool with that. I got $3,000 in drawdown. I'm cool with $200 loss. That's the kind of things I did, and it was definitely a game changer. Okay, all right. So let's get on to some encouragement here. All right, if you've been looking at your P&L like it's the problem, but now you see the truth, the results are just the scoreboard. Okay, the real game is played inside your mind, and the best part, you don't have to beat anyone else to win. You just have to beat yourself. Okay? So let yourself win. Think about that. You don't have to beat anybody, but let yourself win because you're the one you're battling against. All right? You just have to beat the old version of yourself, one trade and one decision at a time. This stuff is powerful. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, this is hooky." I'm like, "No, it's not. It's not. If you knew, if I could take my experiences and dump them on you, you'd be like, this is game changing." All right? Every time you resist the emotional impulse, every time you stay disciplined, you win. Okay? I don't care about your P&L. Did you execute your trade plan correctly? Did you follow your actual plan? That's all that matters. I took an L. I took a big L one day and I was about to go on tilt and I tilted myself back and I was like, that's a W. I told everybody that I had a W today and I was like, I lost P&L, but that was a W for me. All right. So keep showing up because the more you master yourself, the more consistent, confident, and unstoppable you become. All right. I hope this has been encouraging for you. Recommend this video out. You guys can join a free Discord down below if you'd like. I don't even have affiliates set up at this point. I just enjoy having conversation, talking to people because I've learned as I'm poured into by mentors and I pour out and someone else gets poured into and then they pour out. It's just an endless cycle of us helping each other. And I've never seen an industry where we need each other so much because this industry is so hard. So stay connected to people, stay positive, and I'll see you guys in the next video.